And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome back one of my very favorite guests and people, New York Times best-selling author, Kate White, here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new book out tomorrow, The Last Time She Saw Him. Kate, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Oh, Sara, first of all, so good to be back. I was really looking forward to this today. Um, I This is my 18th, and I can't believe it. As you know, as an author, you can't believe when you finish one book and then you think, well, am I ever going to write any more? But this is a story of a career coach named Kiki Reed, who is at a party in the Connecticut countryside, and she knows her ex-fiancé is going to be there, and they have a couple of moments where they speak, and it's awkward. She broke it off and she feels so guilty, but he says he's doing okay. But minutes later, there's the sound of a gun going off and Jamie's dead, and the police seem to be close to determining that he took his own life, and she's just consumed with guilt and worry. But she begins to believe he was actually murdered. And no one thinks she has any agency in this because she's his ex-fiancé. And they're basically telling her to butt out, but she stays with it. She ultimately she realizes that it had to have been somebody at the party. So the title, which we know sometimes our titles don't mean it much, but in this one, it really does mean something because she thinks a lot about the last time she saw him. What did he say? What was going on around? Who was he talking to earlier? Because the murderer probably was at that party.
A lot. We're talking about all of my favorite things: a murder and mayhem, a locked room thriller at a party, and seeing your ex at a party. This is indeed the stuff of nightmares. unless you're in a Kate White book, and then it gets way worse. So I didn't think it could get any worse, and then it does. But we have so much to chat about, Kate, and already the questions are streaming in. I can't wait to get to every single one of them. So first of all, I just want to welcome everybody. Y'all, thanks for tuning in to Mystery Monday. If you've been here before, you know the drill. Every week I give you my handpicked featured authors, and they get to tell you about their books the night before the book comes out. This is your exclusive sneak peek the night before the book drops. And you get to ask this incredible New York Times bestselling author, who is also the editor-in-chief of Cosmo. Any other Cosmo girls out there, holler at me. Anything you want about her writing practice, about 18 books. That's incredible. How do you keep the momentum going? We have so much to talk about. So get the questions going in the chat. Catch a Clue, aka Wendy, says, hi, ladies, and congratulations, Kate.
Oh, thank you, Wendy. So appreciate that. I was thinking today that in the beginning, I don't know if you felt this way, Sara. You write just because you feel compelled to write, and you're so relieved you do it. But eventually you discover the thrill of having readers and interacting with them, and the joy of knowing that they read the book too, and maybe they stay up all night reading it. And that's such a big part of writing now, but I didn't think of that in the beginning. I was just trying to be a writer.
Yes, that is such a good point. That is such a good point, because you're creating this world and inviting us all into it, where we get to talk about these characters that feel very real to us and get to solve a murder. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. This is so cool. What a great point. Thanks, Kate. Sharon is joining us from YouTube, and she says, hi, Sara and Kate. It's so great to be here. Welcome, Sharon. And speaking of readers, so Sharon's been with our Mavens community for 4 years. We're celebrating our 4-year anniversary. And I just met her in person when I hosted Lisa Unger's Boston launch. And it was so great to finally meet you.
That's great. And I know that you hosted that. Lisa is a friend of mine as well. I just love her. So I was a little jealous. Sara, Lisa together. And here I am where? No place right now.
Well, you name the time and place, and I will be there. It is always a pleasure to chat with you, Kate. Seriously. Kim is joining us from Facebook. She says, hello all. Hi, Kim. Look at you.
Hey, Kim.
Doggy. And also there's a dog in this book. We got to talk about that. Robin says, hello, Sarah and Kate from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Oh, sounds like a very romantic place.
It does indeed. And I don't speak French, so I probably just butchered that. Robin, thanks for tuning in. We have another Robin in the house. Hi, Robin. Welcome to the conversation. She's saying hello.
Hey, Robin.
Yay. We have Sherry joining us from Facebook saying, I'm so excited for this book. Yay, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry.
She's fanning her tail feathers. She's so excited.
I see that. A real peacock.
I love that. Robin is saying, yes, indeed. Absolutely. Hatcha Clue, aka Wendy, says she loves the cover, which we see right behind Kate on that beautiful.
Oh my goodness, there it is. How did that happen? It just jumped up there. I actually love this cover too. There have been some covers of my books that I've later thought, hey, I don't know if I like that so much, but I like this, and I like the hot pink on it too.
I love the hot pink, and I actually have loved all of your covers, Kate. So I'm interested that you don't love them. And did you reference something about the title that you don't know? Did you create this title? Was this your title?
Actually, someone in my at Harper helped me come up with the title. In this case, I often do come up with titles, but with 18 books, it's sometimes been a collaborative effort. But what I did tell them that I feel is important now, in the beginning, when I was first writing mysteries, clever titles were in. My first book was called If Looks Could Kill. It was about somebody who worked in the magazine business at a magazine that covered fashion and beauty. But in recent years, I've loved titles as a reader and an author that are a microcosm for the book itself. Like, look at the title for Broadway Butterfly. I have a sense, without even knowing, getting a description of what that book might be about. And I feel like the last time she saw him, you get a sense right from reading the title. This has to do with a couple. Something significant happened at that moment. What does that say about the murder that surely will happen in this book? Because Kate White only writes about murders.
Exactly. And I think it's so interesting what you said about the trend of clever titles, because yes, I noticed that trend as well, and I don't see those anymore, which is too bad because I love clever titles. So I love.
Yeah, I do too. And there have been some really clever ones over the years, but I've just felt I've been drawn to more to, like, even lately, what happened to Nina. You're in that thriller. You're intrigued. Yeah, I want to know what happened to Nina. I don't know anything about this story yet.
Yes, and Dervla McTiernan came on and gave us the inside scoop about Nina, and she'll be at Thriller Fest with us to talk more about Nina. So I can't. But you're so right. That centers us right in the action. We get a sense of what the story is going to be about. I love that, and it's a really good point. Robin is.
If anyone weighed in during our talk today about what draws them to a title, I'm always interested in hearing from readers what makes you read a book, even if you haven't seen the title, the cover. Is there something about a title that makes you go, I want to dig into that?
You know what, Kate? It's so funny you should bring that up. That you're interested in hearing from your readers and what draws us, us to books. Because I still remember that the very first time I interviewed you 4 years ago, you shared that you do read your reviews, and that when you first started writing, you had more sex in your books. You're Cosmo girl. Of course you did. But you were reading the reviews and you noticed that a consistent theme was, we don't need this in here. We're thriller. We're here for the murder and the mayhem. Yeah. And you actually adjusted course and took that out. And I think about that all the time. So I'm so fascinated to hear that, you're still interested. And I love that about you, that you want to hear from readers. So tell us, everybody, what draws you to a cover? What draws you to a title? Kate and I want to hear.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. what's interesting about being in the magazine business, when I was at Cosmo, we took it to #1 in single copy sales in the US in magazines. And I kept it there my 14 years when as the editor-in-chief of Cosmo. And I did a lot of it through research. You can't believe everything readers tell you, so you have to read between the lines. But eventually I got pretty good. I did focus groups. I rated every single item in the magazine, and that really helped me. The book business does not do research like that. And I've found it frustrating not to be able to get as much reader research as I would like. So I'm not afraid to go down into those reviews. I do not read the 1-star reviews because you know why, Sarah? I don't want to ever be arrested for killing somebody who does a 1-star review. So it's better just to avoid those altogether. But somebody once told me the 3-star reviews are so helpful because those are people who are generally supportive readers, but might have had an issue. Maybe they felt the middle got a little saggy or there wasn't enough explanation at the end. And, I love the 5-star reviews. I'll even take a 4-star review, but sometimes you learn stuff from the 3-star reviews.
I am loving this conversation. I love that you crowdsourced information in your incredible storied career, your tenure at Cosmo, and that you missed that in the author industry, because I noticed that too. We write these books for readers. So why aren't we talking more to readers? This is so true. Oh my gosh. Okay. The comments are pouring in. So we got to get into them about this. People got a lot to say. Sharon is saying author first. And if I don't know the author, then definitely the cover.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah.
That is very interesting. And Sharon is a valued member of the Mavens community. I know everybody here. So I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon, for sharing that. Sharon the sharer. I so appreciate that. Yes.
Robin is saying the covers and the font catch my attention and indicate that you're resonating with that hot pink there.
That's good too.
Wendy is saying a house on the cover pulls me in every time, again, signaling domestic suspense. Great point, Wendy.
And you know what? What's really interesting about that is there's been an increase in the number of houses on the covers of books in the last few years. And sometimes what I do is try to look at the sales of books and sort of see what's working. And I've noticed that houses did seem to be working. So, they always say to me, give us a page about what you're looking for with the cover, and I'll give my thoughts. And I didn't say house, but when they sent me this cover right away, I was like, I like that.
I mean, I love all your covers, but it's so interesting because that Wendy Catch a Clue is saying that the house is signaling domestic suspense, because you're so right, Wendy. And I never put that together, but I was subconsciously understanding that. It's so smart.
Right. You must know something's going to be happening in that house. It's domestic. It's a domestic suspense of some kind.
Oh, I love that. Renee says, we don't want you to be arrested either, Kate. So stay away from 1-star reviews. Sharon is suggesting that 1-star reviews could be the names of people killed in your book. Oh my gosh, exactly.
Okay, Sharon, I will acknowledge you in the acknowledgments if I go that route. That's a very nice idea.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah. Robin is saying a double entendre title catches her eye. I love a double entendre, Robin. I'm totally.
Yeah.
Renee saying she agrees with Sharon. Oh my gosh, there is so many comments here, and Robin, absolutely. These are such great comments. John is joining the conversation from Northeast Ohio. John, great to have you. Thank you so much. Renee saying she doesn't care for long titles. Oh, interesting. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, if you look at bestsellers, they tend to be 5 words or less.
Look at you with the Kate with the data. Oh my God, I love this.
Sarah, I just found it was so helpful to hear from readers at Cosmo. And Bill Gates once said, your most dissatisfied customer is your biggest asset. Or, I'm paraphrasing him badly, but you learn from the people who don't like it as well as from the people who do like it.
Oh, this is so interesting. Wendy's saying she likes a title that gives her an idea. She says, I love domestic suspense, so this title would catch me.
Good.
Okay, good to know that we caught you because you caught a clue there, catch a clue. And did I mention that this book is coming out tomorrow? And this is a special pre-launch exclusive sneak peek. And you can pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. So when you order tonight, guys, the good folks at Murder by the Book are going to drop this in the mail to you tomorrow when the book drops. And here is that link. So whether you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, click and pre-order and get your mitts on The Last Time She Saw Him. And then let us know what you think, because we would be so curious to know.
Last year was my first visit to Murder by the Book, and I love being there. And my niece, who lives nearby, who I see so seldom, came to see me there, and a girl who grew up across the street from me. It was such a fantastic experience.
Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. Sharon saying she looks at author, cover, and description too. A thorough reader, that Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Sharon B. Sharon C is saying if the title is too long, you don't remember it at all. I always get one word wrong. That's a good point.
Right.
Like too many different things. Wendy's saying she loves that Kate has done her research. Exactly. Kate with the data. That's what we're going to call you. I love that. Annalie, welcome to the conversation, says, I'm drawn to specificity in titles, not generic titles that could be slapped on any mystery. Almost any mystery, excuse me. If the location figures largely, I like a hint about that.
It's beautiful. See, that's what I'm saying. More specificity, I think, is really working these days.
That's a really good point. Thank you, guys. Sharon says she also loves a good creepy cover. Robin S saying great minds. Yeah, exactly. Creepy. Sharon is saying she loves psychological thriller, suspense, and horror, as well as many others. Covers that catch my eye are colorful and interesting characteristics that are pulled from the story. Exactly what Kate was saying, like centering us.
Yes.
That's a great point.
Must like the hot pink then, the kind of fuchsia. That's good.
I think so. From that Hello Kitty picture, I like that. Elizabeth, welcome to the conversation. Saying, I like to see a cover that appears to be a normal scene, and then after a closer look, there's something off about the scene. It's not as perfect as it first appeared. Ooh.
Oh.
Like that.
I'm going to add that, Elizabeth, to my wish list for the next cover. I think just to be looking at it and seeing something that is a little bit off, I think that's great.
I love that. John is joining us from Northeast Ohio. Welcome to the conversation, John. So great to have you as always. Sharon is saying hi. Oh, she's saying from Minnesota. Yay. She says she loves your books, Kate.
Thank you, Sharon.
Oh, yay. Thank you all for tuning in for all this love. I'm loving this conversation. Oh, Elizabeth is joining us from Kentucky, and she says she hopes you had a very fun Mother's Day.
Well, thank you. And I had a particularly fun Mother's Day because I was joined in part by my husband who grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. So I am so partial to Kentuckians.
Oh, perfect. And we just had the Kentucky Derby. So this is all on brand. Exactly. Hey, listen, Mondays can be murder. So that's what we're here for. It's painful. Oh, Renee saying we love murders, but only in books.
Yes,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's another interesting thing too, Sarah, how, women are such big lovers of books about murder. And yet we're so often the victims of in domestic murders. Do you think, I would love to hear from some of the people who've tuned in. Does reading about murder in a novel, does it help give you sort of a sense of control in a way? Does it make the world seem more manageable? Because I guess the big question is why do we have such an appetite for this kind of book?
I wonder that a lot. I thought about that a lot, especially because women, as you said, are more likely to be the victim, but are also the predominant consumers of murder on the page. And so I thought, why do we like to read this? And I do think it's about preparing ourselves. I've got to be ready for all possible potential attacks.
Right, right. I think there's something, it's so rewarding to see it all resolved in the end, and it makes the world seem somewhat of a safer place.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And when the world is so uncertain as it usually is, and especially now, to have that sense of control and closure and that this is going to be okay in some way, I think is very comforting, even though there is always a murder.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love that. Maureen is joining us from Facebook saying she can't wait to read it. Hooray. Renee is wondering, Kate, where in the world are you tonight?
I am in New York City. In fact, you may hear the sirens in the background. New York is a fabulous place, but lately we've had some issues. Women being punched in the face in the street.
Isn't that
And
so weird?
when I first moved to New York, there was a high danger level, and then it really became such a livable city. So it's sad to see it become a place that you have to be really mindful again. But I also love living here. It's exciting. There are great galleries and museums, and I really try to take advantage of all of that living here. And I've set some of my mysteries and thrillers in New York. In the last time she saw him, it opens in Connecticut. She goes back to New York City, where Kiki Reed, the protagonist, lives, and ultimately ends back up in New York City. But most of it takes place in Connecticut because I do like to mix it up sometimes.
Yeah, because you've taken us a bunch of different places in your pages, and I did want to ask you about Connecticut. So thank you so much for answering that question. Erica's joining us from Mexico. She says, "Hola from Mexico."
Hola, hola. Do you know I live in Uruguay in the winter? So I have been working on my Spanish, Erica, and my husband's Spanish teacher is from Mexico. And one of the exciting things is he has a lesson from him every week. And my Spanish teacher lives in Argentina. And what Zoom has done for us in terms of learning another language is just fantastic.
It's so fantastic. Thank you for joining us tonight, Erica, and thank you for letting us know about your Spanish learning for you and your husband, Kate. Um, Robin is saying it's such a beautiful. She's joining us from Virginia, where it's a beautiful evening, sitting outside on the patio, watching Murder Monday. Oh, Kate, Robin, I appreciate that so much. Renee is saying she just loves your books, Kate.
Oh, thank you, Renee.
Renee, tell us why I love a Kate White book too. Tell us what you love about it. And Renee is joining us from Southeast Florida. She's so happy to be here. Great. Randy's joining us from YouTube. He says, "Hi, Sara. Hi, Kate. Thank you for joining us tonight." Wendy's saying she has read every single one of your books, Kate, and she looks forward to each new one.
Wendy. That means so much to me. It really does.
Yay. Murder by the Book says 18 books. Wow. How do you keep the creative momentum going?
That is the challenge, particularly because if the cop has turned out to be killer in one book, you can't ever have him be the killer in another book.
Yeah, right.
So you start to you run out of certain plot twist ideas. But what's good for me, I find, because I write a book a year. I need more than a year to write a book. So about 3 months before I finish one, I start the next one, but I keep it separate. And for those 3 months, I only think about the new book in the shower, and I'll even try some dialogue in the shower. And maybe I might, over a cup of coffee, start sketching out some thoughts on it. And somehow that all that shower time and not making myself write yet, I start to get excited because there isn't pressure. I'm just thinking about it. I'm just toying with the idea, working with a germ or a headline or something I saw. And that for me keeps some of the excitement up. And there's something just so thrilling then eventually, because you're so sick of the one you just finished, that when you get to start that new one, it does feel exciting. It's a little bit like getting to fall in love a lot of different times in your life.
Oh my gosh. Wendy says they have shower notepads. Who knew? Do you
I
know
know.
them?
I know. I once got myself one, but I found that it was better for me just to have it in my head.
Wait, so I love a shower. I also love to take a bath every night. But how long are you in there, Kate? Because you're thinking about the book. Are we talking like 48 minutes, an hour, and 20, like just
Yeah.
sudsing, turning into a prune? Like,
Well, I do take a long shower. The other thing is, I when I'm in that stage, sometimes I'll also start with some dialogue on my walks. And in Uruguay, one day, I walk in this little town that we live in, and one day I noticed this man staring at me, and it was because I was talking to myself as I was walking. But I help. I think there's something about not committing to writing yet and not putting that pressure on that helps fuel the excitement. So I guess that's one way for me to keep the momentum going.
oh my God, I love this about you. This is so cool. Renee is laughing out loud with us. I am loving this conversation. Just Kate White in that shower, just sudsing up and creating new ideas. And actually, my neighbor in the apartment next door used to teach creativity at Harvard Business School. And she said that the three places that people have the most creative ideas are in the shower, driving the car, or right before they fall asleep. So Kate White, you are living proof of this. You're doing it. Okay, I have a question about Kiki.
Mhm.
So again, 18 books in, Teach Me Your Ways, you incredible woman. What was your relationship as the creator of Kiki? What was your relationship like with her? Do you identify with Kiki? Do you know,
I
no.
always try to find for every protagonist something in myself to bring to that person. Now and also I try to have had some experience with that line of work. And because I've written several best-selling career books, I was able to not only take what I knew from writing those books to make her a career coach, but also call and interview, because I tend to do a fair amount of research for my books, several really great career coaches that I've interviewed over time, and just get them to update me on some of the things that are out there right now. But what I also took from Kiki, Kiki is dealing with just kind of getting her mojo and confidence back after having a professional setback. She was sexually assaulted, not raped, but assaulted by her boss's boss, and ultimately fired. She just thought she'd let sleeping dogs lie. This is before Me Too. And this isn't a big part of the story, but she reflects back on it because she lost her job and she really lost her confidence too for a few years. The wind kind of went out of her sails. And I had a couple of things that happened to me in my 20s. I came to New York. I know this is going to sound shocking to anyone who's listening, but I had been a glamour cover girl, and I had had a lot of things happen to me that would make me very confident. My hometown declared a Kate White Day. So I get to New York, though, and I had a number of things happen to me that really knocked the wind out of my sails. I just felt some imposter syndrome, out of my league, self-conscious. And it took me a while to get those things back. I mean, you don't become the editor-in-chief of Cosmo if you don't have a certain amount of mojo. So I did manage to get it back over time. But I drew on that for the period of Kiki's life where she felt self-conscious and unsure and a little shaky. And where she is in the book is just having finally gotten that back fully. And still working on it a bit, but she's regained that to a large degree. But she reflects on that period of her life in her 20s when some things happened to her that took that confidence away. So that I really drew upon my own experience for that. And I try to do that with every book, something in my own experience that I can bring to the main character.
Oh, I love that, Kate. Thank you for telling me. I did not know that you were a Glamour magazine cover girl, and I love knowing how that period of life, influenced the creation of Kiki, because I wanted to know where Kiki came from. Oh, you have your fellow. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kate. You had something to say.
Well, just that my brothers always referred to that cover as trick photography.
That your brother has trick photography eyes. You're gorgeous, and of course you were a cover model. We have Rose joining us from Bucks.
Oh, Rose.
She says,
Thank
I
you,
have
Rose.
also read all of Kate's book. I love her characters and all of her plot twists.
Thank you, Rose, so much. I had the pleasure of meeting Rose at a book signing, so it's so great to see you today.
Oh, Rose, thank you for tuning in. Wendy is saying, she said, my Monday was rough, but this event has made me smile. Thank you. Oh, that's what we're here to make Mondays a little less painful and get your week off to a killer start. So we have six.
And I just love that kitty cat so much.
I know that is such a cute little kitty. Thank you, Wendy. So y'all, I just want to remind you, the book is not even out yet. Kate White, New York Times best-selling author, glamour cover model, and the former editor-in-chief of Cosmo, which she took to #1 and kept there, is coming on to give us the exclusive inside sneak peek on all things about the last time she saw him. And here is the link again to pre-order. So no matter where you're watching, or we are broadcasting live to 8 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube, here is that link. So click, 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 pre-order. The good folks at Murder by the Book, our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, will send you that book the first thing tomorrow morning. You're not going to want to miss out on this. And if you are in New York or adjacent to New York, come meet Kate White in person at Thriller Fest in 2 weeks. She'll sign your book. You can meet her in person. So come join us there, but definitely get your hands on this book. Kate White, what a pleasure to host you again. You are such a brilliant and insightful writer.
Next year, as I start to plan out for this year, the next book sale date, I'm going to work with you. So we pick a sale date so I can be on the show the night before. Again.
Yay! Well, you always have a seat at my table, Kate. You always have a seat at my table. I will always make it work for you. It is a highlight of my year to host you. I just love how you think about writing. I love your books. As everyone is saying, oh my God, all the hearts are going up on Facebook. Thank you guys so much. Sharon saying you are
Thank you everyone for giving me those great thoughts about what you look for in covers and titles. Very helpful.
You are amazing, Sharon B says. Sharon C says, I can't wait to read this. Robin says, thank you both. Renee says, thank you much. Oh my gosh, I can't keep up with all the comments and we're out of time, but I just want to say I see you all. Thank you for being here. I will be back at the top of the hour with Serena Bowen. Go get yourself a drink and a snack. And we got a hot date with Kate White next year because this amazing lady puts out 1 book a year. So Kate, we will see you next year. Place.
See you at Thriller Fest.
See you at Thriller Fest.